Welcome back, folks. Today's edition of Notre Dame Daily, and gonna start with a couple of guys on the current Notre Dame team that are absolutely going to really drive the bus in any direction it travels this season for the Fighting Irish, and that's Jeremiah Love and Leonard Moore. No strangers to preseason, in-season, postseason accolades, the two of them. And the best part about it is Moore's only a sophomore, and Love had that phenomenal campaign a year ago. Now on the heels of that, coming into a new season, the expectations are through the roof, as they should be, because they're two of the premier players in the country. And to the surprise of no one, more national recognition came their way this week. For Love, the junior running back who put together that monster campaign a season ago, was already a Heisman candidate. We know that, and possibly one of the favorites heading into the new campaign. Now, along with teammate and star sophomore corner Leonard Moore, Love finds himself on the 25 Walter Camp preseason All-America first team list. So that this is a special honor for the star running back and sophomore corner Leonard Moore. Former Irish safety Xavier Watts, now with the NFL's Atlanta Falcons, named to the camp All-American first team at the conclusion of last season. So the Irish are no strangers to this honor. Now, you take a look at the makeup of each of them on an individual basis. A season ago, I mean, as a freshman, Moore's season was outstanding. FWAA Freshman Defensive Player of the Year a campaign ago, and placed on multiple freshman All-American teams. It was a season that saw him rack up 48 tackles, 2 picks, 2 tackles for loss, another 2 forced fumbles, and 10 pass breakups. That's the one that stands out for me. So you're going one-on-one in coverage. You're able to turn around on a wide receiver or a tight end and knock that ball away. The pass breakups are huge. And it's really going to be able to see what he does this season at the Dome. For Love, it's pretty simple. Phenomenal last year. One of the main reasons Notre Dame reached the national title game. I mean, that's undeniable fact. The only FBS player a season ago to score a rushing touchdown in every regular season game. This year's Heisman Trophy candidate and this year's version of Jeremiah Love, coming off an 1,100-yard rushing season with 17 scores, top 10 in yards per carry with just under 7 yards a clip. This year's version, if you can imagine it, will probably be even better. Love and Moore, obviously, among the best players in the country at their positions. But I also think it's safe to say, and we're not just saying this with conjecture and because this is a Notre Dame platform, that they're among the best players in America, period, regardless of position. And with Notre Dame's season set to begin in just over 8 weeks, this duo will surely continue to capture the attention of the country this regular season and into the postseason, where we expect the Irish to get. They've been on notice. They've been in that watch going back to a year ago. Now, with eyes even more firmly trenched on South Bend after what the Irish did a year ago, Leonard Moore, Jeremiah Love, obviously very deserving of making this first team All-America list through Walter Camp. But the eyes will certainly be there even more so this year. It's going to absolutely be fun to watch, and a high-deserved and a well-deserved honor for both of them. Jumping back into these freshman player profile, little preview here. Today I want to focus on DaVon Dixon. He's a fun kid to follow. And the interesting build-up to where his career was headed before injury struck. He's a Miami kid, verbally committed to the Irish in April of 23. I was actually the first commit in the 2025 class, and he was really popping during winter workouts. That's something that was well discussed and noted through different media outlets, because he's a stellar athlete, number one, but he's so fluent up front on that D-line, and he shows incredible strength. But a right pectoral injury sort of derailed, probably too strong a word, but it hindered some of that progress. An injury he suffered in the weight room, and he wasn't able to practice in the spring participation because of it. So it halted some and stunted some growth there. Pectoral injuries, varying degrees in severity. They're never easy. If you've gone through one, you know exactly what it entails. They suck. But the kid, now that we're through June into July, 8 weeks away from the regular season, looks damn good again. 6'2", 325. Stellar career in high school at Miami Palmetto. The accolades racked up for him. All Dade County honors, and there's some damn good football down there in Dade County. Member of the USA Under-20 national squad and a Max Preps freshman All-American. This is a kid who, before he came to South Bend, when it was all said and done in high school, over 40 sacks, over 300 tackles, ferocious hits on opposing quarterback. Watch the tape. I encourage you to do that. And that last thing I said about hitting the quarterback, that's something every team wants in its defensive linemen. So this comes at a time here now where you think about some of the guys, Riley Mills, Howard Cross III, who have now moved on to greener pastures and playing pro ball. Well, you've got to slot guys in and you've got to replace them. And I think the impact or the role for Dixon, like many of these guys, has been, I don't want to call it simple, but there's really no reading between the tea leaves because we sort of know what to expect here. And for Dixon, it's pretty similar to what I discussed yesterday with the spotlight player and Chris Burgess Jr., because it's an incredible path to success for both of them in South Bend. As far as this year is concerned, Dixon plays that same position, nose tackle, as Cross III did. And now that I said Cross in the NFL, the production obviously will need to be made up. Does that come from Gabe Rubio? Jared Dawson, the transfer from Louisville, who we talked about last week? Or with that duo receiving rotational help from the likes of Dixon and redshirt freshman Sean Sevillano Jr., that remains to be seen. There's a couple of outlets. I think conventional wisdom would probably tell you that the first cracks will go up front to the presumptive starter, which is going to be Gabe Rubio. Jared Dawson's going to have a say in that as well. He factors in greatly here, and we got a good look up close and in person with him last year at Louisville, where he had one of his better games of the season. And as an aside to that, that was Notre Dame's worst rushing performance as a team last season against Louisville, and Dawson was a big reason for that. But if you have those two guys with Rubio and Dawson sort of interchangeable there, could you then see packages that include Dixon and Sevillano Jr.? I think so. In my opinion, this is the type of kid in DaVon Dixon that can anchor the interior of your D-line in the years to come. He's got an incredible first step off the line of scrimmage, and it's tremendous when it comes to beating blockers off the ball. And again, I am encouraging you to do so. The film and the tape is out there. Public record, if that's what you want to call it. Watch it. It's explosiveness. It's to the attack point, and that first step is what you want. I mean, think Aaron Donald. If we're gonna go big picture, all right. That's what made him one of the best to ever play the position. I'm not saying that at this point for Dixon, but as someone who is capable with a progression that he's on, now healthy again, anchor that D-line. When you have a first step like that, damn good things are going to happen. His ability to create leverage is also key to that success. And just because of this speed, size, and athleticism combination that Dixon brings, the future is unbelievably bright in South Bend. This freshman class in 2025 that was brought in, whether it be a Mark Zachary, DaVon Dixon, Chris Burgess, whoever else we have spoken about, and guys that we haven't spoken about, Madden Faremo, Ko Okia, it's been constructed for a reason. There was intent and purpose in building this recruiting class. And as good as we think this 26 one is going to be, and the rankings show it, this 2025 class, you're going to have a lot of impactful players making plays as true freshmen. We're going to talk about the likes of Dallas Golden, Cree Thomas, Ethan Long, Jadon Blair, who I love, and the aforementioned Zachary, who's another one who I really can't wait to see. But when you talk about a kid like DaVon Dixon, yeah, future's going to be huge. I think there's a role here, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see how impactful a role that would be his freshman year might be. How quickly we see it. Summer workouts are going to show a lot leading up to the August 31st opener against Miami. So because you have this skill set that a Dixon possesses, I mean, you sort of start salivating here with what could be with the future of this defensive line, because I think the talent is certainly there developmentally with Marcus Freeman and Al Washington. You know they're coaching him up. It's going to be fun to watch. Let's wrap today with not breaking news, but something that should be noted. When you get these stud defensive players out there, specifically guys on the line, and then the ones that can drop back in coverage, or the two-way players, or those stud five-star quarterbacks and athletes on the outside, they're going to get offers from the big schools. So this week, Notre Dame goes out and doles out an offer to 27 five-star defensive tackle Jaylen Brewster, 6'3", 305. He's currently ranked as the number 7 overall player in America, according to 24/7 Sports. Now, you got Notre Dame in there with an offer. They're going to keep coming for this kid because he's one of the best players in his class, not just at his position, in the country. Ohio State, LSU, Georgia, and Alabama are already among beyond a handful of programs to give an offer to the Cedar Hill, Texas defensive lineman. Interesting to note, Brewster's father, Robert, played collegiately at Ball State, and then he was a third-round pick of the Dallas Cowboys in the 2009 NFL Draft. So once again, the NFL pipeline is on the table here for Marcus Freeman and the Irish. They love to do that. They love to keep those legacy guys with the Notre Dame connection, and they've built that pipeline with recruits and guys on a roster whose dads played pro ball. Brewster has, interestingly enough, already made a visit to the University of Texas, and they've got an offer of their own on the table. And there appears to be early on very strong mutual interest between both parties. This is a big one. You're swinging for the fences here, but because of what Notre Dame has done from the 25 class, now with the 26 class, and early on with this 27 class, especially getting that commitment from Ellis McGaskin yesterday, this is a big deal. I don't think this is the type of offer that you just say, all right, well, we're Notre Dame. He's one of the best players in the country. You got to give it. No, you're building that future. You're building that defensive line. We just talked about a couple of guys the last few days in Burgess and Dixon who factor into that. If not this year, then moving forward, without a doubt. Might you be able to get a commitment of one of the best players in the country who also plays up front? That would be pretty darn cool and be pretty darn special as this recruiting wave continues from Marcus Freeman in South Bend. I hope you have a great rest of your day wherever you've been watching from, and continuing to subscribe and chime in. Thank you. Have a great rest of your night. And as always, go Irish.